Alright, hands. How do you draw hands? Right. Let's make it fast. It's just gonna be like a simple kind of like a tutorial. And I first this is generally the step by step go I usually go to when I'm trying to learn something, whatever that is, whether it's hand, whether it's like you wanna, for example, hair, face, whatever. Usually, first break it down, then a second simplify it so you understand the core essence of it, and then three, go further from what you have, with usually with references, so you don't just like go blindly. All right. So the first one, breaking it down. So usually the anatomy uh, for hands is one by one, which is the length of the finger is usually the length of the palm, and the palm is usually the same length as the thumb. Usually the thumb ends around the knuckles part, which is like around here, and usually that's like about it. Maybe it's just like the general the length of them. So it doesn't look wonky, it doesn't look like weird or whatever. This is the general go to for me. See, just breaking it down. All right, second, simplify the hand. You don't need to go like extra details when you're trying to learn something. Just try to get a feel of it. Learn the anatomy, like try to do, I don't know, with the stuff that you already see, which is the what is it? Proportion of it. Just try to draw simple hands. You don't gotta draw the detailed ones. Alright? If you're trying to focus on the detailed ones immediately, it will look wonky because you don't know where to focus on. And it's the same as when you're drawing too zoomed in that you're lost in that zoom the picture, and when you zoom out it's just like it's just kind of out of place. Yeah, I'm guessing it's like that. Alright, so how do we go from here after you're done simplifying it and get the feel of it? Maybe you're um comfortable with it with the simplified one. Alright, we go further. By going further, we making it 3D, sort of. This is the same as the feet, from 2D to 3D. So you have to obviously understand the basic three-dimensional how to draw 3D stuff. So I would assume you already know. It's just basically a brake and a tube, a cylinder. It's it's just that. It's just that simple. And the ratio is still the same. It's one by one. And this is kinda the same as this. It's the same, everything is the same, it's just 3D. Now this part is a little tricky because this 3D is not like solid. It can bend because hand isn't like all flat. It can bend to make it more dynamic. And it's also not like full tube. This is like this one is straight, well this one is not. Alright? This one is more like about the details at the end. You usually get these from the um references where you're like when you're learning. And usually it ended up like this, right? This is like a normal tube. There's no bend yet, and you see even without the bend, even without all the details, you already have the basic structure of it, and you got a hand. You get yourself a hand, and this is bent, and you can see like at the back. This is like the brick at the back, right? And then this the thumb going down after here, and then you get the three normal, straight. Yeah. So you get the feel of it after going at 3D, right? I mean, after this, you should look for references on like hands or whatever on like the details. After this, you look the details, like for example the curve right here, like on the bottom, or like the bottom of the fingers. Usually there's like a, it's not always like straight, right? To, I don't know, just, or even go for the stylized if you want. It's visually up to you, as long as you know the basic of the structure. I guess it's the same as like the skeleton of it, so you can like, you know. Now for the extra stuff, this, sometimes it helps me when I'm drawing hand, especially if, for example, the first one, it's like a foreshortening where the finger is facing to the camera. It looks like a little short, or it's like not completely like flat going on to the top, but also not like straight directly to the camera, right? Like like this. It's not going up, it's not going to the camera. It's like just slightly, I guess. It helps me if I just draw the edge or the tip of the, is that the tip? Kinda, I guess. But the finger is just like one part. You know, usually finger has like two parts, one and two, which is what I usually do. I mean, there's three, but like, I don't want to do all that. You know, just two is enough. And so one, two, and I usually do this one slightly facing the camera. It helps me a lot because I don't really need this. Right, this is just a, you just connect the dots. That's easy to get the because if you build it up like here, you don't know where do you put the second one. I mean, you can, but sometimes it's just off. So you just place this first, this one, and then you just connect the dots. Usually it's easier. And while this one, I just do whatever. It's the same. Yeah. And then second stuff, second extra stuff is usually you can get away with the 2D stuff. You don't even need to make it 3D. You just need to learn the 2D and put details on it, and it will be fine. Unless you really want to do like dynamic poses with the hands, and then you need the 3D. Alright? Usually you can get away with this, which is really good. If you just want to make it look good without like having too much effort into it, I guess. And then the third one, curves. The third one is curves. This comes from the details. Once you learn like the details of like the hands, for example, you know where to put the curves. Just look at how usually artists draw hands, or even like from IRL hands, just like real example. It actually helps here from the previous example. There's another example here. Like there's a curve right here on the palm. I really like this curves because it shows like the dynamic, I guess. Like you can see it, like another curve right here. Because the palm isn't always straight, right? It just helps that. Because if there what is it, for this one, the the palm would be like sort of like this, right? It's not completely. Yeah, there you go. Even from the very first, I think you see it. Yeah, like here. Look at that. I really like this curve. It's just more dynamic for like a hand poses, especially for like a really dynamic hand poses. Well, yeah, that's just what I said, but yeah. Because other than that, if it's not like visible, the curve, it's kind of like straight. It's kind of boring. It's just really on what you prefer. But for me, this kind of poses sells the yeah. I don't know. It's just fancy. It's a fancy way for miniature hands, and I like it. It's sort of like a flex, maybe. But but the general idea is usually you can get away with just 2D and just put details on it. Usually, all right. So yeah, that's about it. All right. Bye bye. Good luck with the